Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey everybody, it's Militiaman here. Hey, we want to go over a few things today. There's been a lot of good news in the dinar world, and we should go over some of that stuff. Obviously, you know me. I like to backtrack just a little bit because there was a very successful meetings starting back from Istanbul, New York City, Washington D.C., then into Germany in Munich, and then now back home. All the players are here. We did see some major events take place that I think are major. Is that today they had a session for the fifth round of licensing for oil contracts and natural gas. That was a big deal. Then they had a session on the table for the hydrocarbon law. That's for the Kurds and Baghdad coming to an agreement. We all know about that. That was on the table again today. And then they talked about the 2023 budget coming in the short term, potentially as early as Thursday. So they said next week, could be this afternoon. They might have kicked that up a notch because they may have put out some data on that. But as we go through the Ministerial Council of Economies, we've talked about it in the past videos that we've made and some audios, that they are a new entity that's helping facilitate the monetary and economic reforms. And that's getting even more depth. Now they've had their sixth meeting, and what they're talking about, first off, who they are, it's the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Agriculture, Labor and Social Affairs, Secretary General of the Council of Ministers, the Governor of the Central Bank, the Chairman of the National Investment Commission, keep an eye on that, and the Prime Minister's advisors for the economic and legal affairs. All of those entities right there are the backbone of this new reforms that they started in November. And so the Central Bank Governor of Iraq is in these meetings. And so when everybody gets together, when the MCOE comes into play, it just shows that there's progress, and that's where we're headed. I think they hosted the president of the Federation of Iraq Industries, and if you think of that as like, what is that? That's industrial. That's big. That's bringing in industries. Okay, I don't know if it's cement, if it's asphalt, if it's feedstock, if it's coal. It could be many different things, and they talk about that today. And so one of the things that we're going to notice is that they started talking about adjusting pricing. When you start talking about adjusting pricing, that's the MCOE talking about adjusting pricing. Those people that are in these meetings, that's huge, because industries need to have stable pricing. They need to know what they're up against. And when they come to contracts, they're going to have to adjust it. So when they have contracts, basically what's going to happen is that when they reduce the pricing, it'll have to be reflected across the board for everybody. Another thing that's really important was that the National Investment Commission, okay, somewhat similar to the National Investment Authority, probably the same thing, maybe a translation. Hey, the bottom line though, whether it's translation or not, they're saying that they're going to adopt the Iraqi dinar in paying dues for housing. This is a governmental situation. So what you have when that happens is that they're getting rid of the MCP's, multi-currency practices, and they're going to be paying dues with rents in dinar. So this is that governmental process that's coming into play. So think about it like this. The banking system has gone digital. They've gone to the new platform, the new SWIFT system. Now the government is going to be going and interconnecting with the new system. And that's going to entail, again, the dues of being paid in dinars. You're going to have taxes and tariffs at the borders. Once they become electronic, they're all going to be on the platform, and they're going to be in their respective currency in the Iraqi dinar. They will still have the ability to, because they have oil, they'll have the ability to trade on that platform in dollars when they need those for the specific legitimate reasons. But you're also going to see them use the dinar. And you've heard that from commercial aspects to everything in daily life is going to be in dinars, not in the dollar. In the bigger event, of course, they're going to use the dollar for oil, but it's going to have be converted, etc. They're talking about the Baghdad Investment Commission is going to require people all the investment firms to have licensing, and they're also going to have special accounts. As I was saying, the special accounts are going to be using the dinar. Okay. Hey, look, changing from the dollar to the dinar in real estate is going to be a big thing. Because multi-currency practices are going to be gone. So they're making it so that people have to use the dinar. And so whether that's in real estate, whether that's in commercial business, it's the dinar is going to be the main focus. So anyway, there's been those expanded meetings in this respect for the government program. So when the government program comes in, it's got the banking, the government, and then the citizens. That's how I see it. And once we get to that stage, and we're seeing that come to fruition as we speak, we're going to see some changes. And so rightfully so, the next thing that they bring up is some of the taxes, the tariffs, and customs. So they've gone out and they have a completion project, and it's become automated now. So once they use the automation, it comes back to that SWIFT program. That's once they get hooked up, everybody's going to be on the same page. The banking, the merchants, the government, once they all have that together, because the taxes and tariffs, that's government. So we're going to get to that, and that's pretty much where we are. They're saying that they're in advanced stages. So back to the banking aspect of it, this is really powerful stuff, is because these guys are saying that we've prepared and we're implementing the program to develop the work of the customs and taxes, the completion of the implementation of the project to automate the sectors, as they're among the vital sectors that contribute to the supporting of the pillars of the national economy. That right there, the national economy. We talked about this a couple videos ago. They talked about the national currency. Those are like huge, because it's national, means that it's their sovereign country. That's their currency. So let's see, as they go on, they said regarding the improvement of the working of the banking sector, they say we are working on evaluating the banking system to be able to mobilize financial resources, reallocate them, and improve their efficiency to serve the economic activity, and to work to modernize and strengthen it by bringing new changes in the banking industry, restructuring and crystallizing it to become more comprehensive for change and reform to lay out the foundation. So the first phase of this whole situation was basically they had to dig out the hole, basically. Now they've poured the foundation. So the rest of the building is going to come later. Once they change the exchange rate and they move forward, they implement it, they get off the dollar in a sense of that multi-currency practice. We're going to move into the future, and it's going to move on. Yeah, and it's going to be great. The government's effort to reduce the exchange rate of the dollar are serious and continuous, and its measures taken are swift. That comment is really interesting, because they're going to use the SWIFT system. This is talking about the government program. And so we talked about the banks, the government program, and now they're talking about the government's efforts to reduce the exchange rate of the dollar are serious and continuous, and its measures are taken to be swift. So if you think about that for a minute, is that it's not the Iraqi government's job to change the exchange rate of the dollar, but what they're saying is that they're using the new SWIFT system, and that is going to effectively raise the value of the dinar, in our view. And so the next thing is that that comes into play with that is that it says the budget will be very large as the government's measures were positive and the government's decision to reduce the exchange rate of the dollar is calculated. So those two items right there is one, they're talking about SWIFT and they're talking about calculated. Well, they're not going to come right out and tell you that we really quickly calculated a new exchange rate, but they ineffectively, I think they did because of those keywords. And if you look at that, take for what it's worth, it may or may not be the case, but it sure looks that way. So yes, those two keywords, SWIFT and calculated, are important. It seems to me like the decision to reduce the exchange rate of the dollar has been calculated. That's why the MCOE and that meeting talking about changing of prices. So let's just see what they do. Let's watch the GOI, let's watch the banking system, and let's see if they have something in store for the citizens. Don't forget that the draft oil and gas law was to proceed today in that session. I'm assuming that was a very, very hot topic today. I don't know for sure if it's done, if it will be done, but obviously they're telling you that it's going to be drafted sometime this year, but I'm fairly certain that they haven't been meeting for the last few days and weeks with the MCOE and in Erbil and in Baghdad on a regular basis prior to the budget, the 2023 budget draft law, which is scheduled possibly for as early as Thursday. It's all coming together because they're all exchange rate oriented. And so if they are on the SWIFT system and if they have calculated a new exchange rate and that needs to be put into that spreadsheet to populate it, to facilitate this to get going, it's possible that could be happening in a very short period of time. So we're going to have to watch and see. And I appreciate everybody's time tonight. And everything is just, to me, is just powerful. And I'm very excited. Thank you. I just want to add one more thing this evening is that all the data that we get, all of the information that we get, all of the news articles, all of the phone calls, all of the the videos you get from all the tweets you get, all of the data that we get is real time, and we get it and we put it together. And we do that at Militiaman and Crew. We have Samson the Great. She's a famous news hound. We got analysts like myself. We got Pompey Peter. We got Day Trader. We have Petra, and we have all the support group that are behind us. The Sunkist. We have Gigi. We have Cinderella. We have all these different people that put this stuff together. And it's real time. It's not a joke. We actually take this very seriously and put all that information together in real information for you guys. So keep that in mind. And thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate it. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.